I'm joined with Mike Burke from Sitka Gold here at the Red Cloud Mining Conference 2024. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good to be here.
So here we are at a gold conference. Gold's hitting all-time highs as you and I are sitting down talking, but I don't see a lot of retail investors at conferences like this. There's clearly not a ton of euphoria out there, but then we also hear Costco's now selling gold bars. There's certainly an underbelly of people who believe in gold out there. The price is telling us that people still believe in gold, but here we are. Still don't see a lot of investors. Good conference. What's your read on the gold market? When does cash start coming into the equities?
Well, I think that euphoria is filtering down, right? It starts at the top and it works its way down eventually. So for junior mining companies like Sitka Gold, you know, we're lucky. We are seeing some euphoria for our company because we've made a discovery in the Yukon and people are noticing that. So if you've got the right story, you're getting noticed, and we've noticed a substantial change in the market. So that's important. Somebody's got to lead the pack, and we're lucky enough, to be in a good jurisdiction with good discoveries, us and Snowline in the same belt. But I think really we're seeing, that gold price and the understanding of the value of gold filter down into the major producers. They're making so much money right now, right? They're cashed up, and we're going to see that filter down. It's just, we're all too impatient these days, right? We need instant gratification, and it's coming, and it's coming in a few spots. But I think it's going to spread out to, a few more folks as time goes on here.
This may seem like a silly question, but I think that it's especially true when we look at some of the names that are in those more remote areas with interesting gold projects that perhaps at like $1,200, $1,500 gold weren't really all that interesting, and now we're near $2,700. Who knows? We could be north of $3,000 this time next year. How big of an impact does that have for gold plays in the Yukon?
In the Yukon or in the north, right? I mean, it all comes down to economics, and so infrastructure in the north is not as well developed in the south. Yukon is a bit of an anomaly as far as northern Canada goes. It's got the best infrastructure of all three territories. So, there's a higher cost of capital and capital development, so that higher gold price obviously helps, but also being in a solid tier 1 Canadian jurisdiction, again, some places infrastructure is better than others. We brag about our property. You can fly a jet into Dawson City, home of the Klondike Gold Rush, hop in your truck, and 2 hours later you're to our project. So as far as infrastructure goes, our project's well situated, even though it's in northern Canada.
Now, you guys are in the Yukon. Obviously, one of the biggest stories in the gold market in the last year is what happened with Victoria Gold. How has that impacted you guys as a company?
Yeah, well, it definitely impacted us because on June 24th, when the heap leach pad failure happened, that was the same day that we announced the acquisition of Victoria Gold's Clear Creek property that adjoins and is part of our RC Gold project. So we're tied at the hip during that day. So our stock took a hit, but the key point was we closed that deal just in the nick of time. Okay. And so they had their Clear Creek property covered the southern part of the Clear Creek intrusive complex. We covered the north, where we've made 2 discoveries, the Blackjack and the Eiger deposit. So it was the last piece of the puzzle. As time has gone on, people have recognized how critical that acquisition was, and we've seen appreciation in our share price. We've done some exploration work on that ground, had some good success. We have some visual results out on our first drilling on the Rosgobble target where we've hit visible gold. So, the impact was short-term for us. Long-term, are there going to be some changes because of the Victoria Gold incident? Personally, and most companies would hope the answer is yes. If there's something technically or operationally that caused that failure, nobody wants to do that again. So fix it up, we can work within parameters like that. So no massive change to anything in the Yukon in the long run.
What's the long-term vision for Sitka Gold? Is it to just go and prove out as big of a resource as possible? Are there any sort of plans to try to, I know it's silly to talk about junior companies getting to production unless they've clearly stated it, but what's the long-term vision here?
Well, the long-term vision, I mentioned we acquired that Victoria Gold Ground. It comes with, 4 key targets on it. We've discovered 2 deposits. Those 4 targets on their ground have seen a limited amount of drilling in the past, but we think we can develop resources on those areas too. So we've got a bit of a long road ahead of us. We've found a key deposit, the Blackjack, that's higher grade than typically you see in these intrusion-related deposits, but we now have control over this entire camp. So really to look at your future and how you're gonna do it, you got to have a better idea of the rest of the potential. So next year is a really big year for us, but beyond that, anything we can do to add shareholder value. If we're an acquisition target because we're starting to find too much gold, and it works out well for our shareholders, well, we're happy with that process. Our CEO, Corco, he's put deposits into production in the past, so it's not necessarily something we'd be afraid of doing, but we probably feel that there could be a larger acquisition within the Tombstone Gold Belt. The area between Dawson and Mayo has seen 11 million ounces of gold discovered just since May of 2020. So there's probably 20 million ounces of resources there between the Victoria Gold Ground, Banyan, and our ground. So I would think that should be capturing the attention of a few larger companies.
So you guys have tripled the amount of drilling, if I'm understanding it correctly, since your last resource estimate. When can we expect an updated resource estimate?
Yeah, we're looking at that. So we'll finish this year's drilling, right? We're going to drill till the end of October. We still have 2 drills going. Going to have to wait for all those results to trickle in. Assays are coming back, slowing down a little bit at the end of the year here. So when those come back, we'll definitely be looking at the resource and whether we put a new update out on it.
Who owns your stock? I see you guys got a $122 million market cap. Who are the big investors?
Discovery Commodity Fund, Sprott, different flow-through outfits. So it's well kind of rounded out. And certainly, in the last couple of months here, we've appreciated and in value a fair bit. So there's a lot more eyes on us. We expect a lot more attention and a few new players coming into our company.
All right, well, Mike, thanks very much for sitting down here. I think you guys got a really interesting project, especially as we're hitting all-time highs in gold, and an interesting opportunity to expand on your resource based on what we can see from you guys just making that major discovery in 2020 to today, and so much more drilling having happened.
Yeah.
It's certainly something that we're going to want to keep an eye on. So thanks for hopping on here, and hopefully we can chat in the future as you guys continue to execute on your drill strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been fun and look forward to more to come.